Hi, everybody. Welcome into the Rant. I am Pugs Moran. I do this every Monday through Friday, usually at noon. But I do think that the time is probably going to drift closer to this time of the day, 2 p.m. every day. Talk radio for normal people. That's what we call it. All right. Before we get started here, I see the chat room is absolutely empty right now, so we'll give it a few seconds. I know that this platform restream has been doing some crazy stuff. There she is. Hi, April. How are you? All right. So I need to explain some stuff. Okay. So I am probably going to be speaking like this, right? We're going to try a more conversational style of speaking. That is because my voice is fried. My voice is absolutely fried. The last few days, I have not been getting as much sleep as I normally do. I've been doing other things. And I've been doing way more recording, way more talking, way more of this blah, 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 blah. April says, I think everyone still has to know that you are on Radio Misfits and not Pugscast. I don't know, man. I don't know what to do. They're doing it for me. I am just doing the same thing I do every day. Hey, that's what we do around here. We make it as fucking difficult for people to find this show as possible. I don't even know what that means. I think everyone still has to know that you are on Radio Misfits and not Pugscast. I don't know what that means. This is why I think we should just be a Radio Misfits show. Just only there. No, but then, there we go again, making it hard for people to listen. Doesn't matter. Doing something different with the Diddy show. We had the first Diddy show last night. That's almost exclusively going to be a podcast. Okay, that you find that on Apple. If you want to watch the video, I suppose you can do that. I don't know. We'll have more details on that moving forward. Seriously, April, you are the only person in the fucking chat room. This is really getting upsetting. Why did this just start to happen? I am doing nothing differently with the setup of this show. And by the way, if you can only have one person in the chat room, April's probably the person to have. So I'm not complaining. Thank you. April enjoyed the Diddy show. The Diddy show last night was good. But I don't get this. Like, why aren't the chat rooms merged? So if somebody is watching this show on, I don't know, Pugs and Company on Facebook, or I don't know, Radio Misfits on Facebook, or I don't know, Pugs Moran on Facebook, or I don't know, YouTube. I'm so confused by all this. Anyway, doesn't matter. Looks like it's just you and me, April. That's fine by me. Seriously, so if I just started jumping around to other chat, what? Didn't the chat rooms used to merge together? I don't understand what's happening. I don't get it. I feel like not even doing a show now. I really have no idea what is going on. We start every show with 20-something people static in the chat room until a couple of days ago. And now a couple of days ago, everybody's all over the place and nobody can find the fucking show anymore. And I have no idea what is going on. I've done nothing wrong. And then I screwed the pooch last night on the first Diddy broadcast. I did it wrong. Ed told me specifically how we were supposed to do it, and I did it wrong. It was a good show, though. But I don't know. It wasn't supposed to stream. I don't know. I'm not sure. I should probably have more conversations with people. April says, keep going. It's a late start, so they'll find you. Yeah, I guess. I suppose. I tell you, my voice is absolutely fried, and I'm spending just way too much time on this stupid Diddy trials. I don't know. My God, I wish it was on TV. I do wish it was on TV. Most people wish it was on TV, but it's not, because it's a federal courthouse in Manhattan, and they don't allow cameras. No federal courthouses allow cameras. Cassie took the stand today. We're going to talk about that. Today's Diddy update will be we're going to do a couple of different kinds of Diddy shows. Of course, you can find Diddy or Didn't He, a nightly trial recap hosted by me, Last night's show featuring urban radio icon Headcrack and star of your TV sets there every night for 14 years. He's been on TV, national TV, every night for 14 years with that Dish Nation show. Jeez. So Headcrack was joined us last night. He's going to join us again on Wednesday. He's going to join us from time to time, give us the hip-hop world perspective on all this stuff that's going on. James Parker from BAP joined us last night too. Here's a little secret. The three of us are actually all friends. So it's not like, we have good chemistry. We know we have fun. All right, so that was great. Cassie's on the stand right now, so I'm a little bit distracted. But don't worry. We're still going to do a normal show. We're still going to talk about all of the things that everybody talks about. Well, when I say that, I mean me. We're going to go through 4 different quarters of this day, the 13th day of May, year of our Lord 2025. The first quarter we do every day. It's called This Day in History. Come on. If it's 2 o'clock in the afternoon, you've probably heard at least 3 different versions of This Day in History, but nothing like the way we do it. We call it antecedently on this day because we fancy. Quarter 2 is birthdays. You know what that is. People born on this day. We decide whether or not we like them. Or do they suck? The birthday game. Quarter 3 is deads, people who died on this day. Where'd they go? They go to heaven or they go to hell? And then quarter 4 is all the hot topics. Diddy, free planes. We don't do politics. I know. We try not to do politics. Look, when certain political stories are just unavoidable and you got to offer comment, I'm going to offer comment like a normal person. But I'm not one of you weirdos on the right. I'm not one of you weirdos on the left. I'm just a normal person, and that's what this talk show is for, normal people, okay? I don't think anybody's, the next Jesus, right? I also don't think anybody's the next Hitler, okay? So that's what we try to do here as a talk show. We try to be normal. April says the calmer voice is nice. It is, but we are just dominating the league in April's. We are number 1 in April's. Okay, so I suppose I'll let the 2 Aprils know. It's Tuesday. That means that it's trivia night. We do trivia every Tuesday night out there at the back 9, 4060 Beltline Road. It's a good time. I have fun with it. Hope people can show up. Trivia night. I'll give you the categories if you're interested in what's going on out there. All right, here you go. So here are going to be my carefully crafted. Where's my trivia categories? Here are my carefully crafted trivia categories for tonight at the back 9, 4060 Beltline Road. Get started about 7:30. Round 1, we do 2 rounds. And we have 4 categories per round. There are 5 questions per category. Okay, are you following? Yeah, 40 questions. I got to come up with 40 unique off the top of my head. That's not true. I do have some tools that I use to sort of generate trivia questions. Here you go. Category 1 tonight is going to be fast food slogans. Actually, it's more dead fast food slogans. I'm not going to tell you. I was just going to give you an example. And I'm not going to give you an example. All these fast food restaurants are still around, but they don't use these slogans anymore. I'm going to tell you their slogan. You tell me the place. Category 2 in round 1 is going to be just everyday things. Everyday things that you should know. Things that you should notice. What color is the mobile sign? Stuff like that. Just everyday shit. See, my trivia doesn't necessarily depend on people being smart or necessarily having useless information. Category 3, there's my microphone. Category 3 is going to be food fun. Food fun. We're going to have fun with food. These are all trivia questions that surround the shit we eat every single day. Category 4 in the first round, just random. Sometimes I just like to give you a random category. Let's go to round 2 categories. Round 2 category is going to be kid stuff. These are all questions kids can answer. I bet you can't. That's right. These are all things that you knew probably when you were a kid, but I'm sure you have long forgotten them. That's category 1 and round 2, kid stuff for tonight's trivia. Pop culture. I'll give you a pop culture category. Why not? I like pop culture. Category 2 in round 2 is going to be pop culture. Category 3 in round 2, entertainment. This is general entertainment. Too often I get bogged down in let's do a music category. Let's do a TV category. Let's do a movie category. Nope. We're just going to do general entertainment here. Category 3 of round 2. Category 4 of round 2 is a fun one. This is crime and punishment in honor of Diddy. This is Diddy week. I am going to describe to you some crimes that some major stars committed. You tell me who they are. Crime and punishment. That's the fourth category in round 2. All of that tonight. Trivia with me out there at the back 9, 4060 Beltline Road. There you go. So we only have 1 April. There you go. All right, so not even 2 Aprils. I got excited there for a second. I couldn't see the faces. I didn't know. It just gets better. My microphone doesn't work. I'm trying to use my microphone differently so I don't have to speak as loudly and yet still come across. Like, where does everybody think I am? Like, right now, where is Barney? Like, where is Byron? Where is Jeff? Where is Toronto? Where is Adam? Where is everybody? I don't know where anybody is. Scheduled the same goddamn show that I always do. I'm just going to table this show. Seriously, I'm getting so sick of live streams. I'm getting so fucking sick of the trouble with live streams. That's why Did He or Didn't He is not a live stream. It's a fucking recording. Okay, we record it, we put it out. Jesus Christ. These live streams, they fuck you, whether it's YouTube, Restream. Yesterday, apparently, people were watching on one platform, Did He or Didn't He, or watching a live stream, and apparently the live stream just stopped. Meanwhile, we have no indication that that's happening on our end because we're recording. Everything's just fine. I don't know. I don't get it. All right, there's Adam. I got Adam's here. That's nice. Never thought I'd say that, but here we are. I don't know why we're spread out all over. I can, all I can do on my end is try and marry the different chat rooms. I've done that, and it doesn't seem like any of the other chat rooms are here or any of the other streams are being... Anyway, we're not going to worry about it. All right, what do you say we just get into the show? I'm going to push forward because, as I say, I've got to save my voice. I've got 2 more things I need to record today, and then I got to go do trivia. So, okay, let's try and do this. I love you guys still. You're my main booze, right? Like this show here, this is my main thing. Makes no money. I put the most effort into it. The other things, we'll see how they do. All right, welcome to the show. It is the 13th day of May. It's the 133rd day of the year. There are 232 days remain until the end of the year. I cannot believe how bad my voice is. All right, let's do quarter 1, antecedently on this day. Oh, and you know what else? Out there at the back 9, I'm going to absolutely screw my voice out there tonight. Because on the microphone out there, it's a loud bar, and I'm like, bah, bah, I'm like barking into the microphone. Here, Ed's in the chat room now. Ed knows everything that's going on, and he doesn't speak idiot. So I have no idea of what that means. He says, P.S. I also made you a chat mod in case you didn't notice. I don't know. What might a chat mod be? I have no... Thank you. Is it like a robot? Will it serve me drinks? I don't know what a chat mod is. He doesn't, like I said, Ed does not speak idiot, and it's probably best for him. All right, what do you say we get started here? Let's move on. Quarter 1, we call this antecedently on this day after, of course, hold on, I find it. Where are we? Guys, this voice thing. It is kind of sexy. Like right in the beginning, it does get kind of sexy. I can hear that. Like I can see why. It's like, oh, I kind of like that. I've been told you're about to lose your voice completely voice is sexy. Unfortunately, the next stage after sexy voice is, I swear to God, there's nothing there. There's nothing there anymore. So let's look forward to that. There's my boy, Frankie. Okay, the sheep are coming home. I need the sheep to make their way back to the chat. I need all my people. They're missing today. Thank you, Frankie. I appreciate it. Let yourself be known. All right, let's get started. Antecedently on this day, these are all people who are not people. These are all things that have helped shape our understanding of this day. Here we go. On this day in 1846, the United States declared war on Mexico. Woo! This is the United States declares war on the Federal Republic of Mexico following a dispute over the American annexation of the Republic of Texas. Maybe this is a better way for me to speak. Maybe my problem is that, first of all, I have such a bad voice, and it's a bad voice because I'm convinced there's something wrong with me. There's a defect in the way you're supposed to speak. Most people speak from the diaphragm. I speak from the throat. And that's why I sound this way. And I've never been able to I've had voice lessons to try and, because for years as a, talk radio host, people were like, you're going to need to learn how to talk or you're going to ruin your voice. So they've been saying that for years. I've gone to voice lessons. I do not have the machinery inside of me to produce the sound that comes from the diagram. So here we are. So maybe I should keep talking like this. Maybe this should be my new thing. Just slow it all down. Antecedently on this day in 1861, during the American Civil War, Queen Victoria of the United Kingdom issues a proclamation of neutrality. That bitch. Did you know this? Did you know that during the Civil War, the Brits, they didn't take a side. They didn't back our government. They didn't back anybody. But in not backing anybody, in saying that they are neutral and essentially just waiting it out to see who won, gutless cowards, Queen Victoria. Instead of doing that, I mean, they did do that, but in doing so, they also lended credibility to the Confederates, which, the Union, America, we were like, don't pay them any credit. Don't. So thanks, Queen Victoria, on this day in 1861. On this day in 1981, oh my God, nothing happened for 120 years. It says here, Mehmet Ali Agha. Here's what happened on this day in 1981. Remember when the Pope got shot? Remember when they tried to kill JP2? He was like going through the, we got this cool thing now, you kids, we have the punchline, the Pope Mobile. Oh, the Pope Mobile, right? Pope Mobile wasn't always a thing, man. The Pope used to walk through crowds. The Pope used to ride in the back of a pickup truck without the Pope Mobile, just waving to people like some hillbilly at some, South Carolina 4th of July parade. And then this dude on this day took a shot at him, took a shot at the Pope, shot him. Pope was rushed to Ignastino Gemelli Hospital. He underwent emergency surgery and he survived. Pope John Paul II would visit that dude. He was in Islam. It was Islam terrorism. He went and visited that dude in prison and prayed with him and whatever it is the Pope did anyway. Pretty incredible. JP2 was a dude. Antecedently on this day, 1985, police bombed MOVE headquarters in Philadelphia, killing 6. Yeah, okay, that sentence. 1985, the police bombed. Did you even know the police had bombs? I mean, I assume they had bombs now, but that's because of years and years of over-militarization of local police departments. My hometown of Orland Park has multiple tanks. I don't know why they need tanks, but they've got them. So, today, if you were to say a police department bombed, I'd be like, well, yeah, I know that they got bombs. First of all, second of all, police shouldn't be dropping bombs. What? So 1985, there was this group in Philadelphia called the MOVE, M-O-V-E. They were a Rasta African version of the Black Panthers. Like, imagine if the Black Panthers were high all the time, but also animals. They were big into like animal rights. So it's like, imagine in Philadelphia, Black Panthers with dreadlocks, always stoned, mad at you because you're wearing a fur coat. That's kind of who MOVE was. Now, they had been in some violent altercations with Philadelphia police for years now. It started in 1972. And so now here we are in 1985. They were being evicted. They were a communal organization who just took over empty apartments in this area of South Philadelphia. There was like 65 of them. And they all just took over all of these abandoned apartments. They had goats and chickens. They were living like it was, they were living like their ancestors in Africa, right? That's kind of was their whole thing. They wanted to return to that. But here's the problem. There were landlords who owned this place. And so eviction after eviction and trying to get them out, and they wouldn't get out. And then this all turned into a big standoff when finally police showed up to evict them with force. And guess what happened? The members of the MOVE began shooting at police. After a long standoff, this is 1985, after a long standoff, the police department decided that here was their plan. All right. Here was the Philadelphia Police Department's plan. Let's drop incendiary devices on the building and burn the building down so that they all come out. Well, that's what they did on this day in 1985. They killed 6 adults, 5 children, and destroyed 250 other homes in the neighborhood. Well done, Philadelphia police. Well done. Reminds me of the time this crazy guy, I think it was Spider Dan, might not have been Spider Dan, but it might be Spider Dan. Google him. Tried to climb the Sears Tower in Chicago. He was one of these dudes who climbed the outside of skyscrapers. So this is the early 80s, and I'm a kid, and I remember watching this on the local news. It was happening live. And the police department and the fire department, they got together and they were like, well, this is dangerous. No one should be allowed to climb this building from the outside. Why? They could fall, causing a problem, right? So that's the reason you can't climb a building, because it's dangerous. You're going to get, they can't do that. Right. So knowing that, on this day, the Chicago Police Department and the Chicago Fire Department got together and they went, hey, what if we take fire hoses and just wash them off the side of the building? Yep, that's what they did. So there's video of this dude climbing the building, and like 2 floors up, there's a bunch of Chicago firemen with a hose just trying to hose this motherfucker off the side of the building. That was the 1980s, ladies and gentlemen. Nobody gave a fuck. Oh, what? You got a problem that we killed a dude? Well, he was an asshole. It's the 80s. One less asshole. That was kind of the attitude. Man, we've changed. All right, that's going to do it. There you have it. Antecedently on this day, let's move into birthdays. These people are having birthdays. Let's decide whether or not we wish them the happiest of birthdays. Oh, my God. I made my screen too small. Here we go. Birthdays. All right, let's get into it. Celebrating a birthday today. Oh, my God. I got too many windows open. All right, I don't need that open. Celebrating birthdays today. Born on this day in 1931, Jim Jones. Jim Jones, one of the most important people in the recent American popular culture. He's Jim Jones, cult leader, killed everybody. You know how he killed everybody? He made them drink the Kool-Aid. And to this day, drinking the Kool-Aid. Drank the Kool-Aid. He was a preacher. It's always a Christian dude. It's always a Christian dude with a bunch of people who are looking for a secret entrance to heaven. So he went and he got all these people all riled up, and he said, I am the savior, and they all believed him. And then he said, I am moving to Jonestown in Guyana, South Africa, or South America, which I always thought was Africa. I don't know why. Anyway, it turns out I guess it's South America. So he moves them all down there. And then the government gets, the government of the United States, specifically a California congressman by the name of Leo Ryan. He started getting all of these letters from family members. They're like, they're in a cult and they're being held against their will. And so the United States Congress opened up an investigation into Jim Jones. And Leo Ryan went down there to Jonestown to investigate, just to see if, any of these rumors about what was happening were true. So when the congressman and his aide, who is Jackie Speier, who is now, I believe, a congressman in California, or maybe she's no longer, but she was for a long time, as they arrived in Guyana, they were greeted by Jim Jones security forces who murdered everybody. Well, not everybody. Jackie Speier survived. They opened fire on the congressman. United States Congressman Leo Ryan was killed right there on the runway as he was exiting the airplane. And then it was within a couple of hours, Jim Jones, knowing full well that this wasn't going to go over well in Washington, made a big old batch of tainted Kool-Aid, gathered his whole flock in front of him and told them, drink the Kool-Aid. And they did. And they all died. Jim Jones, happy birthday. Born on this day in 1931. Born on this day in 1941, Richie Valens. Only reason we know who he is because of the movie La Bamba. La 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 Bamba. That song is a totally forgettable song that would have been completely forgettable other than a movie was made starring Lou Diamond Phillips. And then that song became a hit again, and we're all like, oh, so now we know La Bamba. Richie Valens was only like 12 or something. I don't know. He's probably older than that. Don't check me on it. But yeah, he was probably, he was like 16, 17, very young. Died in a plane crash with Buddy Holly in The Big Bopper. Born on this day in 1941. Okay, a one-hit guy, basic. Oh, Donna, right? He had a song called Donna too. A two-hit guy, great. We remember him. We better remember this dude because this is one of the master geniuses of our time. The wonderful, the incredible, gifted on this day in 1950, Stevie Wonder. Oh, man. Stevie Wonder, still alive. Good for him. He's relatively a young man by today's standards. So, he ain't done anything in like 30 years, but man, that's one dude that I have not, that's not true. I was going to say I've not introduced my son to Stevie Wonder, but actually it is true because Superstition and Sir Duke and all that stuff he is familiar with. So we're good. Happy birthday, Stevie Wonder. Born on this day in 1950. Born on this day in 1961. Happy birthday, the one, the only Dallas resident. I think he lives here. I think he does. I think he lives here. All retired athletes live here because of the tax breaks. But I think he's also from here. Dennis Rodman, born on this day in 1961. Born on this day in 1964. Stephen Colbert, very funny guy. One of the greatest improv artists in the history of the art. Born on this day in 1964. Stephen Colbert. Born on this day in 1966. Hootie. Who am I talking about? Darius Rucker. Who I'm talking about. Hootie the Blowfish. I can absolutely remember the first time. You want to hear a story? Nah, you don't want to hear it, but you're gonna. First time I ever. What was that? Did I turn into an Englishman? I remember the first time I heard Hootie and the Blowfish. Hold my hand. I was the morning show producer in Chicago, and I was driving in. It was like 3:30 in the morning, and I would call the board op of the overnight show, which was just a music show. I would call it with Scott Dirks. I would call the board op on my ride in the early days of the brick phones, and I would just have him pull the wire cord, whatever it was, and I just little things that I needed. And on this one particular day, we were talking, and he said, "Hey, I'm going to play a song next. I think we're going to add it." He said something to me like, they're going to push this song harder than anything that we've pushed. At this point, I want to say the station was going with a brand of talk in the mornings, middays, and afternoons, and then something called the best music on the planet, which was all the rest of the time. And he told me, he said, "Hey, listen to this song. Tell me what you think when you come in." And I'm on Lakeshore Drive, and he drops the needle. We'll call it he drops the needle on Hold My Hand by Hootie and the Blowfish. And so I'm listening to it, not just as a do I like the song, but I'm listening to it as a young radio professional who may, in fact, have some influence on whether or not this song gets played in the third largest market. I'm thinking like that. Dude, that song blew me away. On first listen, sight unseen, didn't know who Hootie and the friggin' Blowfish were. I just heard that song, and I went, wow, that is certainly in step with what we're hearing from Counting Crows. Certainly, it's definitely sort of the zeitgeist. Seriously, there was this moment of Counting Crows, Hootie and the Blowfish, Spin Doctors. Do you remember Jacob Dylan's band? What was that band called? I don't know. I forgot. But anyway, there was a moment. I'm like, yeah, man, that was a great song. Anyway, here we are all these years later. They were basically a one-hit wonder. Hootie would leave the band. He would become Darius Rucker and become a big country star, right? Darius Rucker. Born on this here day, 1966. Born on this day in 1986, Lena Dunham. Ugh, I hate her. I don't hate her for any of the political stuff. I just hate her for her head and her mind and the way she sees the world. This entitled, soft as they come. Not only entitled, but arrogantly entitled. Doesn't recognize her entitlement and sees herself in a class of people that she does not belong in. I hate Lena Dunham. I hope she has aged, and I hope that she is maybe, she sees the world. She doesn't see the world in quite the black and white way that she seemed to when she was at the zenith of her popularity. That show Girls was gross too. I hated that show. I'm like, I hate this show. Who is this show for? Who are these people? These are not nice people. Lena Dunham, born on this day in 1986. Born on this day in 1986. Also, like Lena Dunham. Here's a dude that I don't have a problem with. I got absolutely no problem with him. I think I was supposed to hate him 15 years ago because of the whole Twilight thing. But anyway, my kid will tell you this is the best Batman of all. This is the Batman. My kid loves Batman. He thinks the best Batman of all. Happy birthday, Robert Pattinson, the current Batman. My son will tell you he's the best Batman of all. Also born on this day in 1993, country music sensation and lightning rod for controversy, Morgan Wallen. I don't know anything about Morgan Wallen other than, every so often his name comes up and I don't know, he dropped an N-word or something. I don't know, whatever. I mean, context, I guess. Here's what I do know. He gets played a lot. His music gets played a lot out there on Lake Louisville. And we are coming up on what I like to call Morgan Wallen Lake Louisville season. So I'm going to have to get ready for whatever he's been working on, whatever was, released over the winter. Maybe did he have an album out? Whatever. I'll be hearing all about it all summer long. And although I don't know anything really about him, I don't know the names of the songs, I can tell you that every time I've known it was a Morgan Wallen song and I've listened to it, I've gone, that's a good song. He's a good songwriter. He's a good songwriter who maybe hates gay people. I don't care. I separate the art from the artist. Why deny myself? However momentary spins I've got on this planet, there is so many times I'm going to be able to enjoy shit before, I find a lump or some shit, right? So I'm just going to do it. I'm not going to be like you. I'm not going to deny myself joy. Born on this day in 1993. Happy birthday, Morgan Wallen. All right, let's move into quarter three. These we like to call the deads. These are people who've died on this day. We decide where did they go, heaven or hell. The deads have been a little thin the last couple of days. They really have. I don't know. Oh, here you go. Dead on this day in 1961, Gary Cooper. Gary Cooper. Hey, what's going on? Hey, Willie. There we go. What's going on? Well, we got some guests. Come here for a second. Oh. Willie, yeah, come here. You can talk. My friend Will. Sorry, guys, hold on. What's going on? It's a live room. Yeah.
We were just hanging out looking at the space.
We are streaming though.
Howdy, everybody.
Okay, he says howdy, everybody. All right. There he goes. Dallas nightlife icon, the great Willie Trimmer. Yeah, we'll talk. Okay. Gary Cooper. All right, so it was on this day in 1961 that Gary Cooper died. Gary Cooper, he's an iconic American actor. Name one Gary Cooper movie. All right. Oh, God. I got to name, what's that one with High Noon? Thank you. There you go. High Noon. My grandpa liked Gary Cooper. And, there are many reasons why I wish my grandpa was still around. But one of them is because I'd like to try and convince my grandpa that Gary Cooper was gay. I think that would be fun. Grandpa, did you hear about Gary Cooper? Oh, you would lose his shit. All right. Gary Cooper. Yeah, for grandpa. I'm going to put him in heaven. My grandpa liked him. There you go. My grandpa probably liked to hang out with him up there. All right, let's keep going. Born on this day in 2012. We're putting this guy in heaven too. Again, I don't know anything about this guy other than he was in the Blues Brothers. Donald Duck Dunn. Donald Duck, American bass player, songwriter, producer, member of the Blues Brothers. Oh, also a member of like the Stax house band. So like any of the great Stax recordings that you heard in the 1960s, 1970s, that grooving walking bass line, that's probably Donald Duck Dunn. Dead on this day in 2012, going to heaven. Dead on this day in 2019. Don't know anything about this one. This is actually, we should probably let's do some pictures. Let's see. This one is way before my time, but I know she's famous. So we should probably investigate. Just because I don't know anything about her doesn't mean. All right, who do we got here? Born on this day, or dead on this day. I'm sorry. Yeah, it's dead on this day. Dead on this day in 2019. American icon. Whoop, that was a burp. Did you hear that? Yeah, there we go. All right. Ladies and gentlemen, Doris Day. Okay, Doris Day, dead on this day. Now, I know that one of the benchmarks for whether you go to heaven or hell, right? Like actresses, I always say, if you're an actress, forget about it. You're going to hell, right? Unless there's something. I don't know anything about Doris Day. And for some reason, she's like an icon here in this country. So let's at least see what she looked like. Like, what's the difference between, I don't know the difference between Doris Day, Debbie Reynolds, Sandra Dee, and who's the one with the talk show? Dinah Shore. They're all basically the same people. So there's Doris Day. She seems, hoots. How's she doing with the hoots? They look pretty good. All right, nice smile. Bad hair, though. We always talk about that bad hair. I think I would look at her and I would think that's Dinah Shore. You could show that to me and I'd be like, yeah, that's Dinah Shore. I don't know, man. She's going to hell. I don't know anything else about her. I don't know. Was she good? She was an actress. There we go. All right. Once again, I want to remind you tonight, we're doing trivia. We're doing trivia out there at the back nine. It's called Trash Trivia. Come join us, please. Have a good old time. It's going to be a wonderful night. I've got some great categories. I worked very hard all week long on these categories. Last week, I didn't. You know what I did? I'm going to tell you what I did. Instead of putting the categories together over the course of a week, what I did this week was I fucking rocked ass starting last night. Starting last night before I went to bed, I did 15. Then I woke up in the morning and I did 15. And then after putting this show together, I had a little bit of time left over before the 2 p.m. start. So I did the final ones. And guess what? I didn't struggle on any of them. They were all fun. They are all individually crafted for you to have a truly unique trivia experience tonight. Where? The back nine, 4060 Beltline Road. All right. Oh, there we go. Oh, good. Good. Jeff's here. Barney's here. Sports Bras are here. Whatever. Everybody's showing up now. Good. Good to have you. No, I am. I'm glad to have you. Please don't misinterpret my rage at you. My rage is at whatever is happening where people are spread out all over the place. Look, 12. It's like there's 12 people, right? And I know that there's way more than that. Well, maybe there's not. I don't know. We'll see. I hope there are. All right, let's go. This is the next segment here. We're going to get into the hot topics. And if you've noticed, the hot topics segment the last couple of weeks have sort of begun to morph into less of a, me raging about the news and all that, because that's no fun, to just me talking about shit I want to talk about that also happens to be in the news. And sometimes there's just shit I want to talk about and it's not in the news. So I have to find something that will allow me to do this news story and then jump into the thing that I really want to talk about. That's a little trick that I do. But no, here we go. Let's give you the first couple of stories. Okay. So Trump is in Saudi Arabia for a week. He's going there for a week, making some deals. Apparently the Saudi people are investing $600 billion into the United States. Okay, that's fine. Yeah, we like investment. We also like to complain about foreign investment. So I don't know. It's like the same people. This was a conservative right-wing thing for years. The concern over foreign investment, especially from Middle East. So, but whatever. All right, it's good. Hey, did you guys see inflation? Inflation numbers came out. Inflation numbers are down for last month. I don't know what that's about. I'm not an economist, but apparently that's another good thing. So he made $600 million. He's over there getting money out of the Saudis. He announced the big thing with China yesterday. That was good. And then he did, this was kind of weird. Okay. So he just went out wildcatting like he likes to do, which is he gets up on stage and he just starts free balling it. He just starts hey, and you know what else I'm going to do? I'm going to put a McDonald's on Mars. He says shit like that. Well, he did that again. He freeballed. And what I think happened was, I think that so a lot of people say about Trump that if you get Trump at the right time, you can ask him for anything. And without even thinking about it, be like, you got it, pal. Like, he's a deal maker. If it's fucking something easy for him to do, he'll do. So a lot of people saying that something like that probably happened today while he's in Saudi Arabia. He's hanging out with all these sheiks and all these Middle Eastern people and dudes who are fucking writing weekly checks to all these terror organizations. But whatever, they're going to give us $600 billion. Whatever, we'll take their money. That's fine. I get it. But he's probably in a room with one of these guys, and some dude bent his ear about the Syrians, right? And then Trump's like, oh, that's very interesting, but I got to go make this speech. So then he gets up on stage and he starts doing his speech. And then at the end of his speech this morning, he shocks everybody by saying that he's going to end sanctions against Saudi Arabia or against Syria, which nobody saw coming. We're like, what? Talking about making deals with the Iranians, which was, excuse me, but he ran in 2016 on the nerve of Americans to make deals with Iranians. And now he's just like, okay, the Syrians are cool again. The Syrians work with Russia. The Syrians have a serious, weird Russian overlap that I don't know. I don't know enough. I know it's not the Bashar al-Assad regime. I know that they were overthrown by these new militants, but I seem to remember back when this was going on, that the militants were like worse than Bashar. At least Bashar was like a very Western kind of dude. Bashar wore a suit. Bashar wasn't all in robes and he wasn't fanatically Islamic. I mean, Bashar al-Assad, he comes from a long line of brutal dictators who Western bankers have made, great business with. Until everything went, squirrely a couple of years back and Syria became evil and all that stuff. And I thought that one of the reasons that Syria became so evil was because of the influence of these fringe fanatical groups that were waging civil wars all over the country. And they won. And it's not like they're the good guys. And now we're like reducing sanctions or whatever we're doing. And anyway, okay, whatever. I believe that Trump was with a dude, an advocate for Syria, just before he went on stage. And that Syrian dude put this in his head. And now Trump's doing it. And okay, let's roll. Like I said, I have no criticisms or true praise for whatever's happening here in Washington until June 1st. On June 1st, I'll take a look around and then I'll go, I don't know, guys. Or I'll go, see, it worked. I don't know. We'll see. June 1st is coming. What else? The plane thing. The fucking plane thing won't go away, man. Look, all I can say about is this. So Qatar, who is awful. It's like one of the worst fucking countries on the planet. They are just riddled with like terror organizations and terror bases and funding of terror organizations. Qatar, please. So Qatar comes out of nowhere and they want to give President Trump like a super plane. Like, it's the greatest plane in the world. Is that how they talk? I don't know how they talk. It's like, it's the greatest plane in the world. And he's like, fantastic, I'll take it. And they're like, no charge. He's like, fantastic. So here's the deal. They're giving him a plane to fly around in. And then when he's not president, it's not like it's a plane to the United States. It's his plane. It's going to go to his like library commission and then he's going to keep using it. Or he's not. Whatever. Who cares? Point is this. Dude, they're giving a fucking really bad country filled with bad actors is giving him like a $500 million airplane. You can't do that. Okay, you can't do that. And it's not just me. It's not, oh, Pugs, you just, liberal fucking. I'm not that, and you know that. Man, let me tell you, Senator, what's his name? Who's the guy who looks like he's all bald? The Senate, bald and thin. He had cancer, so I don't want to say it's, Rick Scott, is that him? Yeah, Senator Rick Scott from Florida. Okay, no less than Rick Scott from Florida, a guy who carries so much water for Trump they should call him Gunga Din. Rick Scott from there you go. That's an old Lawrence of Arabia reference, right? You know what that was? Or was that a Jungle Book? I don't know. Anyway, Rick Scott and Charlemagne the God, Urban Radio's most influential talker, both agree on this subject. I mean, this is a subject that any honest broker is going to go, first of all, asshole, give the plane back. Okay. This is just a bad look for the president of the United States to be taking planes like this. And then, by the way, keeping it, not like, giving it to the Defense Department or whatever it is, not just keeping it and using it for your own shit. Talk about buying influence. What happened to draining the swamp? That is the greatest example of swampy fucking bullshit we've ever seen. But so many of you are just willing to go, no, he's 4D chess. No, he's trying to get a plane for free and it's wrong and he can't do it. And reasonable people from all sides of the partisan map are all in agreement here. So, okay, let's give the damn plane back. This is stupid. And it's fucking shocking that it's even a question. But here we are. And then I'd like to say this, just my last thing on the plane. I am seeing this. I am seeing some of you, one of you in the chat room shared this. I'm not going to say who. This argument that it's a free plane. With the United States, why wouldn't we take a free plane? They're giving us a free plane. Because we're not fucking Panama. That's why. Because we're the United fucking States. We don't shop at the dollar store when it comes for shit like this. We build it and sell it at Neiman Marcus. We're the United fucking States. We don't need a free plane from a terror state, okay? The fuck? It's free plane. Why wouldn't we take... Shut the fuck up. God, you sound stupid. It's a free plane, man. It's a free plane. Think it through. We don't need... The United States is not as broke as you are, right? Like, I'm broke. Somebody gives me a free plane, I ain't going to fucking turn it down. The United States of America does not need a free plane. We can pay for our own fucking planes, thank you very much. And you know what? We build our own. Like, why not take a free plane? I don't get it. Everybody's like, hey, you shouldn't take a free plane. You ever heard of the Trojan Wars? You ever heard of any? Come on. Free plane. It is the dumbest. And again, another example of one of the distractions. He may have no intention of keeping this plane, but he may have put it out there that he wants to keep it. Why? Because everybody's distracted by that stupid story now. Stupid story. Meanwhile, he's making hotel deals over in fucking Qatar. Pay attention, people. Hey, this was a good story. This was a nice story. Let's get the fucking Mavs. Can we talk about the Dallas Mavericks, ladies and gentlemen? What a great story. Completely concocted and 100% bullshit, and just another example that the NBA draft is fixed. But yeah, this is nuts. So the Dallas Mavericks won the NBA draft lottery last night. Right? They had, I almost mentioned this yesterday during the show. It was one of the, did I mention it? I don't know. It was one of the quick stories I was going to mention, NBA draft lottery. And what I was going to say is that the Mavericks and the Bulls essentially had the exact same percentage for 1 point. I don't know what it was. Some crazy, not good percentage to win the first overall pick in this year's NBA draft. And let's be honest, the rights to draft Cooper Flagg out of Duke. North Carolina? Duke. Whatever. He's from there. I didn't watch college basketball this year, but I do know the storylines. And there was a coin flip like a month ago between my Chicago Bulls and my Dallas Mavericks. And the Mavericks won the coin flip. And I think that meant they had slightly better odds than the Chicago Bulls. And the freaking Mavericks, against all odds, they should have been picking 11. Like, if everything had just been normal, they would have just picked 11 and the Bulls would have picked 12. But no, instead of picking 11, because the NBA draft lottery is totally fixed, they got number 1. Now, why do I say this is a fix and as it pertains to the Dallas Mavericks? Well, because, of course, the number 1 story of last season is the Dallas Mavericks trading away their superstar, their franchise cornerstone player, Luka Doncic, to the Los Angeles Lakers for a bag of beans. That's not being contested. We, everyone, them know that Luka Doncic was given away for a bag of beans, destroying the fan base in Dallas-Fort Worth. Now, let me tell you something else about Dallas-Fort Worth and how the NBA looks at this. Dallas-Fort Worth, North Texas in general, is the fastest growing metropolitan area in the entire United States. Every year, by leaps and bounds, North Texas, Dallas-Fort Worth grows. We started, when I moved here, we were the 6th largest metropolitan area in America. Now we're 3rd, or we're about to be 3rd. We're about to pass Chicago. We're 4th now, but growing exponentially year by year. You know why? Because North Texas got one thing that other places don't. Fucking land. We got land. It's Texas, baby. So the NBA sees that. The NBA sees this incredibly, rapidly growing metropolitan area, and they see the statistics and the predictions that, you know, there are some predictions out there that say by the year 2050, the North Texas metropolitan area, the Metroplex, could be the number 1 metropolitan area in the entire country, surpassing New York, New Jersey. The NBA knows what's happening in Dallas, and they cannot have a franchise be completely boycotted by the fan base, the large fan base. They know people are moving to North Texas from other NBA markets. They've got to keep this market alive. That's why I believe it was a fix, and that's not an original thought. You can go anywhere today on sports media, and you can hear people offering the thought, the notion that possibly something's going on here with the NBA draft, because the one team that really needs Cooper Flagg right now, after the fan base rightfully knowing that they got screwed over, is the Dallas Cowboys or Dallas Mavericks. And yet, against all odds, the Mavericks were able to jump 11 other teams and win the number 1 pick in the lottery. Now, By the way, let's watch this. Here are the Dallas Mavericks. I guess this is the brain trust. This is Nico, the much maligned Nico Harrison, who traded Luka Doncic for a bag of beans. This is them last night upon winning the number one. Oh, hold on. So right here. Where are they at? They look like they're at a fancy wine steakhouse, right? In a private room. All right. So this is the Mavericks brass watching the draft lottery. Here we go. This is how they saw themselves win it.
The second pick will be made by
Look at Nico. Oh, man. Nico jumping around, high-fiving people like he thinks this is his get-out-of-jail-free card. Watch Nico not take Cooper Flag. Watch Nico not take Harris, right? Isn't he supposed to be this? Watch Nico go deep with some Australian 7-foot project. Oh, we didn't think we were going to get him. If Nico blows this draft pick, or should Nico even be allowed to make this draft pick? I don't know. Let's keep watching. Oh my God, what a fix! A fix I'm totally comfortable with. Hey, look, let me tell you something. If we are gonna lean into the idea that maybe there's a little bit of shenanigans going on with the NBA draft every year. Hey, my team, didn't we benefit from that? I think we benefited from that twice. I think there were some hoodwinks with us getting Derrick Rose a couple of years ago, and then the Michael Jordan one, the famous Jordan one. Wasn't that the one where it was a cold, supposed to be a frozen envelope, but they grabbed the wrong one? I don't know, whatever. NBA draft. How about this, though? Here's a statement from Maverick CEO Rick Welts. Okay, he says, "I am so happy for Maverick fans." This guy who Maverick fans probably want to string up from the big stupid bridge here, big white giant bridge. I am so happy for Maverick fans, Dallas CEO Rick Welts said, clutching the envelope with the number 1 emblazoned on it. I only got to Dallas January 1st of this year. And then on February 1st, we broke the internet. Oh, this is not funny yet. We still can't laugh. He's making jokes about how 1 month into him being here, he was the CEO of the team that suddenly traded Luka Doncic for a bag of beans. Okay? He's making jokes about it. He just feels like, can we joke about it? We got the number 1 pick. And let me tell you, Nico's got this guy he's had his eye on from Slavic, I don't know, whatever. Just take Cooper Flag. Just replace the great white hope with another great white hope. Anyway, here's what Rick Weiss said. I got here to Dallas in January this year, and then February 1st, we broke the internet with the Doncic trade. I am just amazed at the depth of emotion and connection that the fan base has with this team. And what happened today, I can only imagine a better day for Mavs fans. Woo! It's going to really be something special. I can't wait to get back to Dallas. Yeah, you know what? And here's the other thing. I saw that statement being attached and forwarded by a whole bunch of local Dallas media people on Twitter and whatnot, whether they're sports radio guys or TV guys. Nobody's buying it. Everybody's like, yeah, shut your fucking mouth. Do the right thing. We'll talk a year from now. A year from now. You guys are still in the, I hate to cross-reference sports, but you're in the penalty box. You Dallas Mavericks management are still in the penalty box until we see how this shakes out. If the fan base now has to wait for what will essentially be some form of a rebuild, then you know what? You sit in the penalty box with our scorn until we get this thing back on track. Because I'm telling you, I thought they were on track. I thought that they had a team. I didn't think they needed Anthony Davis. I thought they could compete. Anyway, all right, let's move on now to the big story happening out of New York, the Diddy trial. Of course, I'll be hosting Diddy or Didn't He, a nightly trial recap. I'll be recording that as soon as I finish this. Or actually, no, because I got to wait for them to adjourn for the day. Then I got to put my thing. Oh, my God, it doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. My voice is going to be wrecked. I'm telling you. But that's okay. Come see the last of my voice tonight. Beltline Road, 4060 Beltline Road in Addison. We're going to do trivia. We've got Stuff to give away. Okay. Let's see here. Let's talk about the Diddy stuff. Okay. Well, let's just go through some of the things that we have here. I'm having difficulty with my microphone because I'm using it in a way that is different because of my voice. So just bear with me. All right. So yesterday, I'll catch you up what happened yesterday. Yesterday, we had Philip Daniel. Philip Daniel showed up. He is the male escort, one of the male escorts who Diddy would hire. $6,000 a pop. This guy was paid to have marathon, and that means 10 hours to multi-day sex sessions with Cassie, who is at the time was Diddy's girlfriend / fiance, protege, whatever you want to call it. These are the freak off parties. I also really, and this was driving me nuts last night when I was talking to James Parker of WBAP and Headcrack. This crossover between the famous Diddy celebrity white parties and freak offs. There is no crossover. They are two completely different things. So when you talk about Diddy freak-off parties and then you show a picture of fucking, I don't know, somebody at a Diddy white party, a bunch of celebrities, and then you're like, they're all child molesters. I'm like, okay, first of all, child molestation is not the charge here. Second of all, the white parties are different than the freak-offs. That's what we're learning. They're not just a different kind of party. Freak-offs were private between Puff and whomever he's with, Cassie in this case, or prostitutes. Freak-offs are a weird perversion that Diddy had. Diddy wanted to see the woman he loved have sex with strange men for hours and hours and hours. That's what a freak-off is. That is what Cassie is saying that she was forced to do, okay? She's saying she was a prisoner. She's saying, all of this stuff. It's different than the white parties. There are no pictures from freak-offs. Well, actually, that's not true, because prosecution, Emily Johnson, she said there are going to be some pictures possibly being shown today from freak-offs, stills and videos and all that stuff. But any of the pictures from People magazine of like 50 celebrities wearing white head to toe on some yacht partying, that's not a freak-off. That was a Diddy white party, and they are completely different things. Now, I'm not saying that maybe, after a white party back at the hotel room, a freak-off didn't occur. That may be a thing. But these freak-offs were regular events that Diddy oversaw. He'd book a hotel suite for the weekend in some strange town, and he'd be like, we're not leaving for 3 days. They're just going to have sex. These are what freak-offs were, and they happened all the time. White parties happened once a year. Okay, these happened all the time. They were just a little bit different. So Cassie is taking the stand today. I think she's still on the stand. But yesterday we got Philip Daniel, who was the male prostitute. He was paid $6,000. Again, $6,000 a pop. Sometimes less, sometimes not at all. If he couldn't finish whatever the marathon sex thing that Diddy had demanded, he wouldn't get paid at all, which is weird. And the guy said that he never pushed back on that because, he's afraid of Diddy. Everybody who is coming forward is saying that they were afraid of Diddy. That Diddy had this like almost mobster, gangster kind of control over every aspect of his life, especially these very weird, very private, perverse freak-offs that he would oversee. What else did Philip Daniel say yesterday? Anything interesting? That he advised Cassie to get out, that he witnessed Cassie being beaten by him on a number of occasions. And then once he told Cassie after they had sex for 10 hours, he told her that you need to get out of this, that this is not something, good for you, which I said last night is so strange when a sex worker is giving you advice on what you need to do. Hey, as someone who's made some poor choices, Cassie. So that was all yesterday. That was Philip Daniel. He basically set the tone on the kind of things that he was asked to do as a prostitute. And then today he was cross-examined by Diddy's team. The first time he took, all day yesterday, that was all prosecution. He was witness for the prosecution. But today, this morning, the defense had a chance to take a shot at him and figure out what was going on. And what did he say? He said something this morning. Anyway, maybe it wasn't all that important. Actually, it seemed important. Oh, here you go. Okay, so male prostitute Daniel Phillip admitted that he'd only seen Cassie appear to be messed up on a drug or alcohol one time when he was invited over for a sex session with her. Now, this is important because a big part of the prosecution's case, and the prosecution is who called Daniel Phillip. He is a witness for the prosecution who is now being cross-examined by the defense. Daniel Phillip, a big part of the prosecution's case is that Diddy was drugging these people, that he would drug them and they couldn't make their own decisions, and therefore that's kidnapping. That's a big thing. Yet upon cross-examination today, Daniel Phillip, the prostitute, said he'd only seen Cassie appear to be, this is important, he'd only seen her appear to be messed up on a drug or alcohol one time when he was invited over for a sex session with her. So during all of these things, he is saying, the male prostitute is saying, she was never messed up. She wasn't. Now, goes further. He says, the one time that I saw her under any kind of influence or any type of drugs, Mr. Combs said no to any sexual intercourse. That's from a defense, that's from a prosecution witness during cross-examination. A prosecution witness during cross-examination by the defense told a story that makes you go, oh, wow, Diddy is looking out for Cassie. That's kind of wild. That is not expected. Again, I'm going to read it to you. Male prostitute Daniel Phillips admitted he'd only seen Cassie appear to be messed up on drugs or alcohol one time. And the one time that I saw her under any kind of influence of any type of drugs, Mr. Combs said no to any sexual intercourse. Combs' lawyer, Xavier Donaldson, asked Philip Moore. Okay, so there you go. So that's interesting. Guys, I know we're only a day and a half into this, and we haven't even talked about Cassie, and we'll get to that in a minute because she's been on the stand all day. Are you guys prepared for him to be not guilty? Are you guys? Because I'm predicting right now he's getting off. He is getting off. This is another situation where it looks like they are overcharging this dude. They are charging this dude for shit that I don't know. Are they going for the brass ring? They're overcharging him, it looks to me, in order to get him to like a life imprisonment kind of thing, when I don't know that you're going to be able to sink that putt. I think that there are a whole bunch of other things, slam dunks, that you could have got him on. It could be like, 5 years, something like that. But man, I don't know. Seems like, especially, the idea that he was drugging and manipulating and controlling, and then you have their very first witness for the prosecution who was supposed to lay out all of this perversion and grossness. You have that very first witness being turned in cross to admit that their whole theory, the prosecution's entire theory that he drugged these women up, that he who was there never saw it. And in fact, not only did he never see it, but there was one time where she seemed a little bit drunk, and Diddy stopped. He stopped everything. He said, no, that's crazy. That's the kind of thing, maybe he was gotten to. I don't know. That's a big thing for him to reveal there. All right, let's move to Cassie. So Cassie shows up. Cassie is, of course, his longtime girlfriend. She is the epicenter of these charges. She brought them initially years ago and was joined by other people. She's a big centerpiece here for the prosecution. Cassie Ventura, former girlfriend, protege, whatever. Diddy had her signed to his record label. She is now married. She's married to a guy named Alex Fine. Alex Fine is a Hollywood fitness trainer. He's also a rodeo bull rider, and he wants to kick the fuck out of Sean Puff Diddy Combs. He does not like Sean Diddy Combs. And to that end, because Cassie is testifying today, Alex Fine, her husband, he showed up in court, and immediately the prosecution asked for a sidebar with the judge, and then they requested in court publicly that Alex Fine, the husband of Cassie, who is set to testify today, be barred from the courtroom because he has, over the years, sent menacing and violent texts to Sean Diddy Combs. So Cassie's now husband, who is a physical fitness trainer to the stars in Hollywood and a bull rider, gives no fucks about Diddy. He's like, I will fucking put your head through the wall the next time I see. So based on that, Diddy's defense team asked the judge to have this man who has violently threatened the defendant be stricken from the courtroom. That didn't work. I think the judge was like, nah, he's fine, but he has to leave during something. Anyway, okay, let me get back into this. We'll tell you about here you go. Team Diddy asked Cassie's husband to leave. Okay, here's my notes on this. Terry Garagos, who is Mark Garagos' daughter, asked for Cassie's husband to be barred from the courtroom. Combs' lawyers eventually agreed that Fine could be in the courtroom for all of Cassie's testimony, except when she speaks about when the fallen music mogul allegedly raped her. Okay, so Diddy's team wanted Cassie's husband barred from the courtroom. They asked the court, they said, look, he's my client has been threatened. He's very frightened by this violent man who is the husband of the current husband of the so-called victim. We need him barred. And the judge was like, he's a husband, his wife, and we'll get into his wife in a second. His wife is going through some stuff. I'm not going to ban him from the courtroom. I'm not going to ban him from being there for his wife. So the compromise is once the conversation turns to the rape of Cassie and the beating of Cassie, the husband will have to leave the courtroom, which, okay, that sounds, look at us. We can compromise. That sounds like a reasonable compromise there. Okay, so Cassie takes the stand. Cassie takes the stand early this morning, and they broke for lunch, and she's been on the stand all afternoon. I don't know where we are because I've been doing this stream now for the last hour and 10 minutes plus, so I don't know where we are. But Cassie, it should be noted, is married. She has a number of children now. This is all in her past, all of this stuff that you're hearing. And upon taking the stand, the jury got to see that she is 8+ months pregnant. Now this is really interesting tactically. This woman is going to take the stand. At any minute her water could break. I mean, think of the stress of taking the stand and being pregnant and all of these concerns. She's going to tell her story. The prosecution is going to handle her with kid gloves because she's their star witness. And then the defense is going to have to cross-examine her. The defense is going to have to cross-examine her hard. They're going to have to go after this lion. You were into it. You loved it. They're going to have to do this to a woman who is 8 months pregnant in front of a largely female jury. Oh, whoa. That's a tough trick. That's going to be a tough trick for the defense. So we'll see how that goes. Prosecutor Emily Johnson said that the prosecution would potentially be offering images from videos as early as this afternoon. Videos that would show nudity involving multiple people and entirely sexually explicit acts. They're going to show porn. They're going to show these freak-offs. They've got videos. Oh, my. The courtroom will be cleared. The gallery in the courtroom will be cleared when these videos are shown. Cassie, upon taking the stage, testified that he would bash my head, knock me over, drag me, kick me, stomp me on the head if I was down. Cassie described how Diddy's twisted freak-off sex sessions began. She says, in the first year of our relationship, when I was just 22 years old, Sean proposed the idea to me. This sexual encounter he called voyeurism, where he would watch me have sexual activity with another person, specifically another man. It basically entails the hiring of an escort and setting up this experience so that I could perform for him. Pretty quickly over time, these are quotes from her. Pretty quickly over time, I knew it wasn't something I wanted to be doing, especially as regularly as it became. But again, I was in love and I just wanted to make him happy. See, this is really troubling, and this is why I think he's going to walk. Because I think that rational people go, well, okay, you were in love, so you made a choice. You made a life choice to participate in this. You know, you could have made a choice to walk away and not be a victim, and we wouldn't be sitting here, or maybe somebody else would be sitting here 10 years later. This is going to be troubling for a jury, because I think reasonable people go, well, it sounds like she was totally willingly into this. And, you know, I don't know what her performances are like on these videos or whatever. I am certain that at some point they'll leak out. We will see something, some grainy, funky flip phone video, like 2000, you know, I don't know. Cassie says that even though she didn't want to take part in the freak-offs, she was scared of Combs' reaction because he, quote, controlled everything in my life. Cassie, who started dating him at 22, said Combs controlled what she wore, what career choices she made, everything about her daily existence. Here's another quote. It says, and I just didn't feel like I had much say into it at that time. Being super young, naive, a total people pleaser, I didn't know enough if he would be upset to be violent or just write me off. Okay, so I mean, obviously, I don't want to go all that much into it because I'm going to have to do a whole rant for this on the Did He or Didn't He series that we do, which I'll be recording after this. But I don't know. That she's pregnant is going to play well. That she's pregnant is going to hamper the jury, or it's going to hamper the defense's cross-examination of her as a prosecution witness, because you can't just beat up a pregnant woman in front of a jury. You just can't. But these things that she is saying, you know, about, I didn't want to disappoint him, I was in love. Okay. You were in love, so you stayed. You made a choice. You made a choice knowing that you didn't like doing this, but you were in love. I just don't know. I think that's troubling for a lot of people. I mean, as long as there's no stories of her, we're eliminating the drugging. You know, that was something that was floated in the walk up to this whole thing. He would drug these people and they weren't making the right decisions. Well, right out of the box on day 2, during cross-examination of the prosecution's escort witness, we get him to put into the court record that not only was Cassie never drugged, but the one time that he saw her a little fucked up, Diddy stopped everything. That hurts. That hurts the prosecution. And now, once again, we've got Cassie, the victim, a very compelling one too, as I say, 8 months pregnant. We've got Cassie, and she's saying, well, it was because I was in love and I didn't want to let him down. I just don't know how that's going to go over. I don't know. You were in love with an asshole? I mean, he seems like a real asshole, and you were in love with him? What was the transactional nature of it? Let's be honest. You weren't in love with him. You were in love with the dream of him making you, you know, into the next Mary J. or whatever you wanted to be. I don't know. That's what you were in love with. That's why you were involved here. Again, if she was drugged, and we're going to find out stuff about, you know, was she locked in places? Was she not free to go? Was there real aspects of kidnapping and sex trafficking going on? I don't know. So far, we haven't seen any aspects of it. This prostitute wasn't a victim. He's like, this is what I do. They pay me because I can lay pipe for hours and hours. He wasn't a victim. Is Cassie a victim? She says she is. We're all being asked to consider the facts. I just don't know that the prosecution is doing a really good job here in the first couple of days with the first couple of witnesses. Boy, I'll tell you, that Philip Daniel, that escort, on cross-examination, got him to admit what he admitted. That was not good for, it was just not a good moment for the prosecution. All right, let's go. That's enough. Again, you can tune into Diddy or Didn't He, a daily breakdown of the Diddy trial with me. Tonight, it's just going to be me alone going through what Cassie said. And then tomorrow, another big show with myself. Headcrack will be joining us, and James Parker from WBAP. So that's right here on Radio Misfits, radiomisfits.com. Like, follow, subscribe, all of that stuff. Radio Misfits. All right, let's go. Hey, how about a list of the fattest states, right? This is fun. A new list. We love our lists here. Well, every year they put out a list of the fattest states, and when I was a kid, I was always led to believe that Wisconsin led America in obesity. Apparently they do not. As a matter of fact, I would like to say congratulations to the state of Canada, or the state of Canada. Not yet. Slow your roll, man. I would like to say congratulations to the state of Wisconsin. The state of Wisconsin is not even in the top 10 most obese states. Wisconsin was always about beer, butter, and dairy products. Always about beer, butter, and cheese. That's everything there that, maybe they're still number one in heart attacks. I don't know. But obesity, Wisconsin's not even in the top 10. You know what is in the top 10? Let's go through them. All right, here you go. These are the 10 states with the highest obesity rates. Tennessee, saw that coming. Indiana, Kentucky, get out of the way. Iowa, corn. Oh my God, it's an entire state whose economy is based on something that we should not be fucking eating. And yet we've all been like, but it tastes good. Yeah, but it blew my mind. And I asked somebody once, I don't know how old I was, but I asked somebody smart, I think it was maybe a doctor or something. I asked why corn is in your poop. And they basically just said, because corn offers your body absolutely nothing and they don't even want to waste their time with it. And I'm like, wow, really? Iowa, there you go. 37.9% obesity rate. All right, Oklahoma is next, most obese state. Then comes Alabama. Then comes Louisiana. Then comes Mississippi. These are all hick states. These are all fucking hick states. Tennessee, Indiana, Kentucky, Iowa, Oklahoma, Alabama, Louisiana, Mississippi, Arkansas, and the number one most obese state. And I'll tell you, if there's a negative list to be number one on, it is always a foot race between Mississippi and this state, West Virginia. West Virginia is number one in obesity rates. All right, let's look at the ones that are the bottom 10 in obesity. So this would be the states with the least amount of fat pigs. The states whose Walmarts don't need to worry about having extra those little people mover machines for fat people. Oh God. All right, let's go. Here they are. Montana. A lot of walking in Montana, I'm guessing. A lot of walking. Florida. All right, very good. Connecticut. Vermont. New Jersey, New York, California, Massachusetts, Hawaii, and the number one state with the lowest obesity, Colorado. I don't see where Texas or Illinois is, so we're just going to move on. There you go. Fat states. The least fat state is Colorado, and the most fat state is West Virginia. Makes sense, Colorado. Everything's on an incline. I mean, you live your life in Colorado. You live on a Stairmaster. You are just constantly, I imagine. I don't know. I'm not that smart. That's sort of how I think it works. Let's keep going. What else do we have? Hey, Kevin Spacey's back. Are you excited? Kevin Spacey got himself a big role in a big Hollywood movie, and they're not worried about him anymore. And I think that is awesome. You know why? Because cancel culture sucks. And anybody who screams about canceling people, they ought to be canceled. They ought to be put in some kind of a work farm. I hate it. Kevin Spacey is an amazing actor. He is tremendous in everything he's ever done. He is great. So he's a bit of a dick. He's an asshole. Everybody says it. They're like, Kevin Spacey is not a nice guy. Okay. Am I under the impression that like all of my favorite rock stars and movie stars are just awesome dudes? Am I so stupid to think that they are who I think they are, like from their sitcoms or whatever? No, of course not. These are weird people. These are weird people who are actors. And you know what? Kevin Spacey, sure, his dad was a member of the Nazi Party. He was. His dad was a white supremacist. Well, whatever. We learned a lot about Kevin Spacey over the last couple of years of him going through it. And guess what? He was never convicted. This dude had more try. He stood up to every one of these fucking charges and said, let's fucking go. He won everywhere. London, New York, Massachusetts. Goddamn right, give Kevin Spacey a job. Come on back, dude. You are a terrific actor, and I can't wait to see what this garbage is. All right. Kevin Spacey's back. Madonna. Here's something interesting. Madonna was supposed to be making this big movie. There was this big movie. It was going to be about Madonna's life. You know, she's going to get the Freddie Mercury treatment. Julia Garner. From Ozark. Oh God, I love Julia Garner. Julia Garner was going to play Madonna. in this Madonna movie. But, as is happening now with films, nobody wants to go to movie theaters anymore. So they pulled it. They're like, yeah, we're not going to make this. Not going to be a movie. We're not going to do this as a movie. Guess what? It is now going to be a Netflix series on the life of Madonna. And Julia Garner, here's what they're pitching. Here's what they're saying this is going to be. It's been given the go-ahead from Netflix. It's going to be great. I can't wait to watch it. It's going to be interesting, especially if it lives up to what they're saying they're going to do with it. They're going to give it the Crown treatment. They're going to treat Madonna the way Queen Elizabeth was treated in The Crown, and they are going to follow Madonna's career all the way from like being a street kid in New York trying to get noticed in the early 1980s all the way through who she is now. And each year or each season, they will then recast a different person, a different actor to play Madonna. Julia Garner is still going to start it off. So Julia Garner is going to play young Madonna. But I think that's real clever. And I can't wait to see it, because let me tell you something. The thing that got me about The Crown, why I watched The Crown and why I think it's great, it's because I'm a fan of history. And somebody told me that this isn't about the Queen of England. It is about the world unfolding in front of the Queen of England over the past 60 years. It's history. And I was like, okay, that's an interesting way of saying it. So I watched The Crown, and I love The Crown. I'm also a big fan of pop culture. And there has been nobody over the past 60 years who have been so close to so many incredibly huge pop culture moments quite like Madonna. So if they do it like that, I think this will be a great thing. Good job. The Madonna movie is now going to be a multi-year. They say they'll do it for a number of years. A multi-year Netflix series about Madonna. Chris Berman, he's this is pretty cool. Yesterday I told you about Rich Eisen and how Rich Eisen is coming back to ESPN. Rich Eisen, of course, was at ESPN. That's how he made his name for himself. And then he left in 2003. I can't believe 22 years. 22 years Rich Eisen's been gone from ESPN. Yet, here we go. All right, so Eisen's coming back. Today it was announced, or yesterday it was announced, Chris Berman. Chris Berman has now signed a long-term contract, another contract that'll keep him with ESPN. I don't know, until he's 70. So it's going to keep him, there for a while. But here's the big deal. It will make Chris Berman, this contract, ESPN's very first 50-year employee. 50-year employee. That's pretty good. I like Chris Berman. He was fun. He always brought fun to the highlights, right? All right, let's do another segment here. People are the worst. All right. This was going around last week, and I've been meaning to get to it, but I haven't been doing People Are the Worst. Can I just show you something? People Are the Worst is a little segment that we do here from time to time, possibly every day, if I remember. It's where we just focus on somebody who's out there in the world stealing oxygen from good people like you and me, and we just need to call them out for their idiocy, okay? So here we go. Today's winner of People Are the Worst is this person, all right? Did you see this person? This influencer? Here, let me show you. All right, let me explain to you what's going on here, okay? This plane is being delayed because this person has their emotional support horse. What is that? A fucking Great Dane? It's a dog, okay? And now I don't really want to go off on this because she's obviously doing this for clicks, and this is the world that we live in now. Clicks and clout and all of that, that's currency. So I'm going to do this thing where I exploit the laws, these permissive laws that let us bring animals on board. I'm going to bring a gigantic animal. I'm going to buy a seat for him, and then that's all she's doing. She's just fucking with the system, all right? So I'm not angry at her so much. I know what she's doing. She's doing a bit. This is how she makes her money. It's a fucking idiot. Nobody thinks that this is normal, and nobody thinks that somebody needs to travel with their fucking dog. Okay, I say that, but here we are. Apparently, a whole lot of you out there think that you can bring your dogs anywhere you want, and I'm getting a little sick of it, so I got to have a conversation with you about this, okay? I'm a dog person. I love dogs. Dogs are awesome. I bring dogs. Dogs ride around in the car with me. And you know what? You know what happens when I got the dog in the car with me and I need to stop at, I don't know, the 7-Eleven, or maybe I need to get some gas or something like that. When I'm driving around, do you know where the dog stays? The fucking dog stays in the car. And I crack the window and the dog sticks his head out and he's a dog back there. You know what I don't do? I don't bring the fucking dog into Kroger with me. I don't do that. Now, there is kind of a cool thing that I do enjoy, and I think that this is different, and this will be the one caveat. There are any number of bars, taverns, restaurants, places like that advertise and let you know we are dog friendly. We have a dog porch. This is a whole dog kind of experience. I am all for that. That is fucking cool. I'm a dog person, and I'm also a bar guy, so that is awesome. You just go somewhere, your dog sits under your chair, you talk with friends, you have a couple of drinks, that's fine. But again, we understand that that's the plan from the beginning. This is a dog-friendly place. Airplanes are not dog-friendly places, man. Okay? And then don't give me the whole thing. Well, what am I supposed to do? I'm going out of town for 3 days. I can't just leave my dog alone. You fucking board your dog like normal people have been doing for 100 years. Okay? You don't bring your dog. It doesn't sit on your lap. This is absurd. People are just absurd. These are young people, right? These are the generations after Gen X. These are millennials. A lot of these are millennial kind of ideas, I guess. But it just got even worse with Gen Z. Or just suddenly, well, what do you mean there's something wrong with bringing my dog into my dental visit? You're at the fucking dentist. Leave your dog at home. But I need him. He calms me down. I can't do this. Can't do it. I was in Iraq. I can bring my dog everywhere now. Oh, come on, man. Stop it. It's not an excuse. Bring your dog everywhere. I'm sick of it. I'm sick of it. You know why I'm sick of it? Because I couldn't do it, even if suddenly it became a totally acceptable thing and everybody was on board with it. I couldn't do it because my dog does not behave. My dog would not be good on an airplane. My dog would attack the pilot. My dog would bite the person in the seat above him. Whoever, somebody starts eating some shit, my dog's going to be like, wait, I got to get it. My dog has been banned from multiple PetSmarts at this point. Can't bring him there. They're like, yeah, no, she's too aggressive. Can't bring her to a PetSmarts. Wouldn't even want to try a dog park. Took her to a dog park once when she was younger. Yeah, never went back. In fact, I moved from that location. I can't even, there's a new dog park where I'm staying now. Haven't even tried to take her there. I'm like, nope. But even if she was like, had the personality of a golden retriever or some shit like that, I still ain't taking my dog to Kroger. Okay, let's stop that. So there you go. People are the worst. You people. April says, so back 9 staff said I could bring my lap dog with me. Does Pug approve? Yeah. I mean, that's fine. That's back 9 has dogs. They have the dog patio and people have dogs. I've been there with dogs. It's one of them dog bars. You understand that going in. It's also a smoking bar. Yeah, there's a whole lot of things that are going on at the back 9. They're a little different. Yeah, no, April, bring your dog where. But I don't think that you're one of these people who, can't go meet with a lawyer without bringing your dog with you, right? I mean, not talking about, it's a dog bar. Back 9 is a dog bar. You can do that. All right. What do we want to do here next? Oh, let's do this. How about a little douche of the day? That's right. This comes to us from Oak Cliff. God, man. All right. This comes to us out of Oak Cliff, Dallas here. This is a local douche of the day here. This was captured by our friends at Dallas, Texas. They're a terrific follow. If you're looking for somebody who gets all the craziest video from around the Metroplex, you can go find yourself Dallas, Texas TV. All right. So this is a roundabout in Oak Cliff. This is our douche of the day. Let's watch this. So here, see 2 cars coming. I don't know if they're racing. This looks more like a Formula One kind of hairpin here. But watch. Here we go. This is a roundabout. By the way, I hate roundabouts. I hate them. Can't stand them. You know where they got a lot of roundabouts? Up north. Like you go up like Allen, McKinney, like off 75. Like all of those surface roads have roundabouts. And I'm like, what the fuck is this? Get stuck in a roundabout. I'm like, I don't want to pull out. Which turn signal am I supposed to be using? I hate roundabouts. So here you go. Here's a roundabout here in Oak Cliff. Let's see how this turned out. Yeah. All right, let's watch that one more time. That was incredible. Here, let me see if we can pause it properly. So first of all, he just whipped around this other car. Like he is just in too big of a hurry. He is flying. All right. Probably a stolen car. It is Oak Cliff. All right. Now at this point, I like this because you hear him hit the brakes. This is when he realizes, oh, fuck, we're cooked. Okay, here you go. Listen for the brakes. Oh. Oh. That is terrific. That is terrific. I don't know. They died. I don't know. They were fine. I don't know. Seems like people in like neighborhoods like Oak Cliff will say it this. Seems like people when these kinds of things happen in neighborhoods like Oak Cliff, like they drive a car into a house or they flip a car over a bunch of other cars in the neighborhood. Seems like they almost always just get out and run away. Right? I'm right? It seems like always. It's like, you know, you hotwire a car and then get in a short police chase and you wreck out. You're probably going to get away. You're just going to run through some. I don't know why that happens. Are they wearing their seatbelts? I don't think so. I don't think that's it. All right, guys, that's going to do it. All right, let's finish this show. We're done. We're done. What is it? April got me some updates going on here. What is she following Cassie's testimony? Because I'm going to have to go play some catch up here. Diddy show was good. Oh, thank you. Thank you. Hold on. Okay, never mind. Trying to include the chat room here and I can't do it. All right, everybody, I want to welcome or thank you all for hanging out with me today. I'm going to shut up now. I'm not going to say another word until the Diddy trial concludes, and then I'm going to record the Diddy thing, and then I'm going to be out there, and I'm going to leave it all on the table, baby. I'm going to leave it all on the table at trivia tonight. I'm saving my voice for trivia. 4060 Beltline Road, trash trivia, prizes, drugs that are legal. They're legal. That's for now anyway. It's not drugs. It's like, those gummies that get you feeling all good. Courtesy of our friends there at Sacred Oils. Also, gift certificates. I think we're also going to have some swag tonight. Come one, come all. It's a good time. Starts at 7:30. The back 9 in Addison. 4060 Beltline Road. Trash trivia with yours truly. All right, guys. I'm going to shut up. And here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to go up to the Starbucks. There's a Starbucks right here. I'm going to go up to the Starbucks, and I'm going to get some hot tea. Hot tea, ladies and gentlemen. All right. Am I missing anything else? I don't think so. Where was Peter? I didn't see Peter today. Get the fuck out of here. Is that real? Is that real breaking news? That's incredible. Is that real breaking news? Did April Michelle really just give me real breaking news? Real breaking news that I care about. And we'll probably have a lot to say tomorrow. Major League Baseball breaking news, New York. Pete Rose and Shoeless Joe Jackson have been reinstated by MLB, making both say it ain't so, Joe. Say it is so, Joe. That's incredible. That's great. That is really, really cool. All right, Sports Bras are confirming. That's really cool. It's right, too. Pete Rose never fucking gave anything less than 150% every time he was out there. The man's nickname was Charlie Hustle, for crying out loud. Joe Jackson was one of the best players of his era. Had he been allowed to stay there, we might not just be talking about Babe Ruth from that time. Joe Jackson was right there with Babe Ruth, and he was banned from the game. Why? Because he was the best player in baseball and he was illiterate, and a whole bunch of losers on his team convinced him to do some things that he didn't really understand. Here's the thing about Joe Jackson. Joe Jackson in a losing effort in that World Series for a guy that supposedly threw the World Series could have been voted the MVP of the series. Joe Jackson balled out. He did not throw that World Series, but he got lumped in with all the other guys because he was the big star. That's wrong. That's wrong. That what Judge Mountain Landis did to Joe Jackson was wrong. This is a terrific thing. That is a really good bit of news. And I'm sure I'll have more tomorrow. Anyway, say it so, Joe. That's terrific. All right, very good. Now, there's a whole bunch of dudes on that team that were banned that should have gotten banned. Looking at you, Eddie Seacott. I mean, there's a bunch of dudes who did things, who took money. Joe didn't take any money. Joe didn't sign anything. They tried to show that Joe was complicit because they showed an agreement to throw the World Series with an X on it. Joe was illiterate. He didn't sign anything. He did sign things with X, but anybody could have signed X. And then again, the proof is in the pudding. The dude never got any money, and he balled out in the World Series. He was incredible. Ugh. All right. That's great news. What a way to sign off today. All right. Again, one more time, got to remind, back to the business at hand, of course. Trash Trivia. Join us tonight. Trash Trivia tonight, 4060 Beltline Road. That's great news. And good news for Pete Rose, too, because Pete Rose, as I said, he doesn't deserve to be banned. I'm not ready to go there with Bonds, McGuire, and Sosa yet. Steroids is different. But the reason that Pete Rose and Joe Jackson, the reason that they were banned, very sketchy reasons. Very, very sort of baby out with the bathwater kind of reasons. All right. You guys are the best. We'll see you tomorrow. Also, don't forget, like, follow, subscribe over at Radio Misfits for daily updates. Did he or didn't he? I'll be doing daily updates from, whatever it is that's happening in the Sean P. Diddy Combs trial. We're doing that every night. RadioMisfits.com. So be sure and like, follow, subscribe. All right. You guys are the best. We'll see you in a bit. And by that, I mean on tonight's edition of Diddy or Didn't He? And then once again tomorrow. And hopefully later tonight out there at Trivia. Trash Trivia. Bye, everybody.